everyone, it's Sally with the Polka Dot Life. I am so happy that you have joined me. Each month, the team that I belong to for my upline, we do a color challenge. And so this month's colors were Calypso Coral, Fresh Freesia, and Coastal Cabana. And for my card, I used the Simply Fabulous stamp set. And that set has all kinds of really great florals, leaves, and fantastic sayings. So without further ado, let's put the camera down and get started on today's card project. Today we are working with the Simply Fabulous stamp set. This is a great one. It is in the annual catalog on page 41, and it is a good combination of florals and leaves and sentiments. If you are a beginning stamper, this is the kind of set that you want to invest in. These sentiments are good for a lot of all occasion cards. Maybe there's not a sympathy, but you could do a just saying hello and do it in muted colors. You could do florals for more female-oriented cards, and you could do shades of greens in the leaves, and it would be a great masculine card. Just what colors you choose can kind of sway this set either way. This is also a great one if you are considering buying a starter kit. And I would love it if you would consider joining my team, the Polka Dots. That would be wonderful. I would love to have you, and celebration is the very best time. It's the best deal of the whole year usually, and that is going to be ending February 28th. I have 3 colors here: Fresh Freesia, Calypso Coral, and Coastal Cabana. The team that I am a part of, my uplines team, she offers a color challenge each month. And these are the colors that I was issued for February. We can use these 3 colors only, plus we could use very vanilla, basic white cardstock, and then we can use black ink as well. I am going to start with this Fresh Freesia. I have my Versamark out here simply because my ink pads are a little bit juicy. And you can, if your ink pads are kind of on the juicy, which means there's a lot of liquid in there, I keep these plastic spoons here in my office, and you can just take a clean spoon and you can move. You're not removing the ink from the pad, but you are moving it out of the way so that you aren't using as much on your stamps. Now, I am just going to take a Kleenex and I am just going to wipe that off really well so that I can use it again. I'm running low on these. I need to restock. But if you didn't have a plastic spoon, you can use your Versamark and put your stamp in the Versamark first and then in your stamp pad, and that just gives it usually gives it a little smoother of a finish. And I am actually just going to try mine here right now. And you know what? Even though I've moved the ink out, I can still go ahead. It didn't have much on it and it's very light, so I'm fine to use the Versamark. I am going to move that back out of the way. Yeah, I like that. I didn't get a good, and if you don't have, my work surface is kind of cushiony. If you don't have a Stampin' Pierce mat, then use a mouse pad or maybe even a magazine or something just to give it a little cushion so you'll get a much better stamp. So the thing with color challenges is that we don't usually have, oh, I do not like that. Let me see. I am going to flip this over since we are early in the process. So the thing with the color challenge is we usually don't have a designer series paper unless you use one of the in color papers or the color families to have that work out for you to be able to use it. So I usually end up stamping and making my own designer series paper. This is also great if you are stamping on a budget. You can always make your own designer series paper with some basic white or very vanilla cardstock. And you might be surprised just how much you actually like it. Now I am just going to sit this one aside, and I am going to pull in the Coastal Cabana just because my leaf image is a little bit bigger. And see, we can move this ink out of the way. So I have a leaf image. You could pick in this set whichever flower, whichever leaf image that you wanted to use. And I'm just going to kind of, you can move your paper, you can move your stamp, whichever you like to do. On these kinds, it's kind of one or the other. It doesn't really matter because it's going to be so busy. And we have some more images here too, so we need to leave room. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I kind of like to do even images on my greens for some reason. I don't know why. It's definitely not necessary, but I'm just going to try that. I may come back and add some more. And I am going to use my fresh freesia again for a different image. I'm just trying to make sure I have all of my 3 color families represented here, and then I will go back in with another image with the fresh freesia. And I thought, since our challenge was in February, why not use the hearts? But I think they work for any time of the year. You just kind of want to have some of all the colors distributed the way that you like it, or the way that you think looks appealing to you. Now we're going to be covering up a little bit of this center section also, so we'll keep that in mind. I think that's probably enough of the Calypso Coral for me. And I'm going to switch out this flower for a different floral image. This is kind of, I don't know if you consider this like an open tulip or what it might be. And I'm just kind of looking, I think that I do want to go back in with the Coastal Cabana and just give that another shot right there with the leaf. I just feel like I need to have some right here. And that leaf one is a little bit, generally your leaf images are a little harder to fit in depending on the size that you use. And we have several sets with these different multifaceted floral pieces or small pieces, and this same technique would work great using those. And especially with the photopolymers, it's always a good idea to stamp off. Now, I had been using my stamps, so I kind of knew it was going to stamp okay with some of these other ones. And I got that a little close, but it's okay. We're just a little bit less about perfection here. Let's see if we can kind of fit one in here. Maybe not. It might crowd it a little bit too much. So we have 1, 2, 3. Sorry if I got my head in that camera. but I think that is pretty good. And even just adding them around the side of your paper just helps to finish it off a little bit. No, I'm stopping. We are good. I still will be needing all of my ink pads here for a quick minute. There we go. Going to move this off camera here for a second. I am also using the tailor-made tags today. And we're going to be using the sentiment, "You are simply fabulous." And I'm going to keep it towards the lower half of this tag and kind of in the center. Doesn't have to be exact any way, shape, or form. Cute. I am not usually a Coastal Cabana girl, but I do like, when I do use it, then I enjoy it, and I don't know why I don't use it more. And I'm going to put this flower back on that other side of the block. And I am just going to stamp this floral image right here in the corner. And then last up, we have the Calypso Coral. And I actually need to go back and do something else to my card. I forgot about our little center to our flower. Now I am going to pull this back here just so I can see it a little bit better. And it's one of those that if you don't get it straight on in the middle, you can either stamp it again and move it up a little bit further, which I still didn't get right, but you really aren't going to notice that it's not a solid one, it's just an outline, so I think it's fine. And then let's bring this right here and put some hearts on it. I went ahead and put the little circles inside of my flowers, and we're going to put our card together now. So we're going to just bring our Coastal Cabana card base in. And this is a landscape card. So let me bring in my liquid glue. And we are just going to, this is a new glue bottle, so it is really, and let me just spread that out just a tad. There we have put that on our card base. You could always bump it up with dimensionals. Whatever you would choose to do would be fine. That is the great thing of making our own cards, is we can kind of make them do whatever we would like. I have a piece of vellum. Vellum is going to help kind of tone down the busyness of this background. And so I want to, you have to be very careful when you use vellum about where you use adhesive. So I know what is going on top of here. And so I am just going to put liquid adhesive right in that center area. And I am just going to lay it down. We're going to put something over this. So that's why I can do that, and I know that it will be fine. Another component of the card is the tag that we stamped earlier, plus a little bit larger of a Calypso Coral one as well. And I am going to put the white on top of the coral with dimensionals. And then I am just going to put this right here. And I'm not worrying about, for this card, I'm not worrying about lining up those holes. I am just doing it like this. And before we adhere this down, I'm going to bring in some white thread and a little bit of the fresh freesia ribbon. This ribbon works so nicely for bows and just all sorts of things. I'm going to take this and I'm going to feed it through the Calypso Coral hole punch on the end. And then I'm just going to pull it to where this lines up. I'm not tying a knot. And I probably am using more of this trim than this. It's not linen thread, but it's we have 5 colors that come in a pack of this. I guess it's like a braided twine. I'm not sure what you call it right offhand, but you know what I mean. You'll be able to see it there in our embellishments. And I am just taking it and I'm just going to tie a knot. And I'm just going to take a minute and get it pushed down there. And I'm just going to double knot it. And then we're just going to add it here to our card. And it's okay if this goes off a little bit. This is very, this ribbon is very forgiving. It's very thin. I don't want it to look stubby and short, but I don't want it super long either. But it can bend around the card when you put it in the envelope and it's going to be fine. And you can have these tails out here. You can have them hang down here. It's just going to be however it decides to go, to be really honest with you. And it will probably relax a little bit as we go along. And I'm just going to put some liquid adhesive on here. And we will just make sure that that's straight and center it as in that little piece of vellum. Just give everything a nice press down. We have an insert for the inside. Super fun. And to put the finishing touches on our card, we're going to use some of the fun flower resin shapes. And I am just going to take one of these little ones, and that's what I am going to cover that hole with. Now take your pick tool. Every once in a while you have to just give it a little twist and that putty will continue to come out the top. I guess I had cleaned mine off and I forgot about it. Put one of these Calypso Coral ones inside of the big flower. And then let's just kind of add another one, maybe right in here. And that's all there is for this card. I think that it is just a fun and happy card. Probably not a color combination I would have come up with on my own, but I do like it and I think it's fun. In November, I went to Indianapolis for Onstage, and my team leader, Brandy Cox, we had a team day. And we used this set to make a card. And I happened to win this set as a prize. But this is the card that she made as an example, and she gave it to me. I thought that was very kind of her. And then she just used some colored cardstock on the inside, and she cut out around her greeting. I thought that was really nice. And then this was the card that I had made at the team event. And she had given us just the pieces of paper, the colored paper, and then we had to figure out what else to use. And so I did this one. And it again was just stamping that background paper. That's the same thing that she did as well. And I guess I didn't finish the inside of that one. I really like this set. I think that these 3 cards are just fabulous examples of you can make cards for all occasions. And don't forget, don't just make your cards, send your cards and bless somebody. Just send them a little happy mail and make them smile. As always, remember to be kind, send a card, and do something creative. Bye-bye.